you, Michael, very much. Acknowledging, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stewart, the Chairman of the Board, Mr. Riley, the Legal Aid CEO, Mr. Hart, Mr. Crandon, Mr. Molhoek, and all our partners and staff at Legal Aid. Thank you very much for coming today for this very important launch of this very important initiative. We have a problem in Queensland, and we have a problem right around Australia, and that's the increasing risk to vulnerable women and children of domestic violence. We have, I'm advised, some 67,000 cases a year reported of domestic violence, and unfortunately it's going up. So we've got to do something about it, and this starts generally with our community legal centres, the groups that I see around the room today that are on the ground delivering great services to predominantly women, but also men in these circumstances as well. And of course to our most vulnerable in our community, that's our little kids. We have a very strong commitment that we want Queensland to be the safest place to live, to work and to raise a family. And to do that, we've got to tackle the issue of domestic violence head on. That's why we've announced the task force, which hopefully you've all heard about, with Dame Quinton Bryce chairing it. We could have thought of no better Queenslander than Dame Quinton Bryce to chair and lead the reform agenda for domestic violence issues in the state. And what I've seen coming out of the task force already in terms of the discussion that's taking place, I'm excited that we're going to have some great suggestions and reform agenda within the next 3 to 6 months coming out of that task force. And what it's done, ladies and gentlemen, it's put this issue and put this beacon on it, a big spotlight to say that this issue is real, unfortunately, in our community, and we've got to tackle it. And not just the politicians, not just the not-for-profit groups, but society and our communities have got to tackle it. Victims have got to speak up. And we know, you know, how hard that is in the domestic violence spectrum for women to speak up particularly. That's why I am doing as much as I can to support Legal Aid and our community legal centres in the field of domestic violence to raise this issue and awareness. That's why I accepted the invitation to come down today, because I very much see this as one of the most important law reforms that Queensland will take forward in the next few years to come. Now, you know, Legal Aid provide a great legal service to the most vulnerable in our community, people that need access to justice, that can't afford justice, that can't afford lawyers. Legal Aid assist those individuals. So can I thank all of our Legal Aid staff here today under the direction of the board, but Anthony, your team as CEO of Legal Aid. Now, I'm not sure if it's been public yet, ladies and gentlemen, but I can advise you all that I've recently approved the appointment of Anthony Riley as the CEO, because his term has just expired. So congratulations, Anthony. You've still got the job. So well done. Now, I think that's gone through Governor and Council. If it hasn't, everyone just keep that hush-hush till the Governor signs off, and our good media partners, just keep that hush-hush until the Governor signs off on it. But Anthony, what I've seen in the last 2.5 years, the programs that coming out of Legal Aid, like this program today that we're launching, is just fantastic, and we've got to do more of it. When I travel around the state, I do try and go to as many of the Legal Aid centres as I can. I think this is my first visit to the Southport Legal Aid. I've certainly been at the courthouse plenty of times. We've opened offices I think in Ipswich and Cairns, so it's been great to go to those regions as well and to see these programs rolled out. So what I would say to you today, ladies and gentlemen, launching this domestic violence duty lawyer innovative program is that watch this space. Because what I would like to see, Brian, you call it a trial, I think it's going to be success without it even starting, because we know the service is greatly needed. We know the people that will be doing and conducting the service will be professional in the way they do it and want to help these individuals get out of these situations. So I know it's going to be a success, and what I would love to do is work with Legal Aid and all the partner organisations and try and work out how we can get this program rolled out in other areas in Queensland. We're doing as much as we can in terms of we've got the task force established. We've recently announced another $500,000 to the Women's Legal Service, who have duty lawyers, and they do a little bit of the domestic violence work as well. With the extra money, they've allowed them to reopen their rural phone line, which was very important to rural women in Queensland who don't have easy access. A lot of the eastern border people, vulnerable Queenslanders, find it difficult to get access to justice, maybe financially or whatever the case may be. but our women in our regional and rural Queenslanders, you know, you can imagine small towns without that support. So we have this rural phone line operating now with the Women's Legal Service. So I can commit to you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do whatever we can as a government, and whatever I can as Attorney General, continue to support these types of programs. It is supported by government, I can assure you, otherwise you wouldn't have 3 local members here supporting all the efforts that you do. And in those efforts, can I thank the partner organisations that are here today. I'm looking around, I'm not going to mention anyone because I'll forget people, but I just want to thank the not-for-profit groups that are here today, because you very much, like our duty lawyers, are you see the hands-on, the day-to-day operation and how this issue does impact people's lives. And I think very underestimated in terms of how difficult it is to deal with these situations. I recently went out to Nanango Courthouse, and we've got a problem at Nanango Courthouse because it's one of an old courthouses on heritage listing. But what they do every Monday is they have the victims of domestic violence lined up on the outside patio on the right-hand side, and they've got the alleged perpetrators lined up on the left-hand side. And now that situation shouldn't be happening in Queensland, where you've got women that have come forward. Mostly the majority of the women have come forward, but then they've got the alleged perpetrator within eyesight. We're working out there with the local member to try and work out ways that we can actually redesign and get some infrastructure out there so that doesn't happen. And we don't want people in that uncomfortable situation when they first get into that spot. KPMG estimate that domestic violence costs the economy over $13 billion a year. So this is just not a social problem, we've got an economic problem in the state as well. That's why it's so important, and I see they're already coming through the task force. So Legal Aid, congratulations to the staff and partners of Legal Aid, congratulations. The acting magistrate coordinator here, thank you very much for your attendance. I see judicial registrars here as well, and it's very much great to see the collaboration that's played out at Southport. I think Southport always does it well. Southport always has these great initiatives. The member for Southport is agreeing, and I think Burleigh does it well.
Coomera does it well.
I think Coomera does it well. I think this region does it spectacularly well. So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. It's very much supported, this initiative by government. I do hope it's very much a success as we all collectively try and make sure that Queensland is a great place with great opportunities, and it can be a place that we can live, raise and work in a very safe community and safe environment. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that very positive note, I now officially launch the Southport Domestic Violence Duty Lawyer Service.